Dave was just one of those people that was the most joyous person that I had ever met. And and he had a lot of reasons not to be. He had lost his first wife to cancer. He had experienced severe loss like that. He had been through a lot in his life, but you would never know it if you met him. And I think one of the greatest things that I learned about my life with him was that he always focused on the greatest possibilities about life. He never focused on negatives. He always focused on what the best part of this could be, and he always just moved forward with that kind of thought. And I try to emulate that, and if there's anything that anyone could take away from his life, it would be to learn how to be grateful and how to be more joyful. He was extremely knowledgeable about many things. We had met, and he had just gone on a trip to New Zealand, and he brought all of his maps and all of his paperwork and went through all of it with me, so I felt like I knew everything about New Zealand by the time we were done having coffee. And he was a consummate gentleman, so he wanted to walk me to the car, and I didn't realize that his goal in doing that was to make sure he got the second date and got it all sealed and done and delivered, because Dave always had goals. So but that never changed. He always walked me to my car. He always opened car doors and things like that. But I think the easiest way to explain Dave is that he was a little boy trapped in a grown man's body, essentially. I mean, nobody liked to have fun more than Dave. Nobody liked to play more practical jokes. Nobody liked to laugh. He had the best kind of belly laugh. And then there's a story that comes to mind that I used to live in the Washington, D.C. area, and I used to go to the Kennedy Center to see the Nutcracker every year. And so I talked about that a lot, and one year he surprised me and got me tickets, and they're really good tickets, orchestra seats, and we sat down and the show started, and it was probably going for about 30 minutes, and Dave leaned over and said, "I just want to know, is anybody going to say anything at any point?" I was like, "No, honey, this is a ballet. They're going to do this and dance." And he was like, "Okay, just checking." So that's the story that mostly comes to mind, one of the silly things that he said or did. I get so many cards and so many notes and so many messages, and I read every single one of them. And some days they came at a time that I really needed a note from somebody, and they were just amazing to me. It's one thing to have people that know you and love you, who support you and care about you. It's another thing to have perfect strangers go out of their way to write you a heartfelt note and to go through the time of getting it to you, never knowing whether you're going to actually get it or you're going to actually read it. And so that meant a lot to me. I mean, it really restored my feelings about humanity quite a bit. It was just so amazing to know how strongly this community came out, because that also told me that they really truly cared about what had happened to Dave. So it meant the world to me, it really did. And I want to go a step further, because in my mind I also always replay the day of Dave's funeral and the people that I still see in my head over and over again lined up in the snow that day as the funeral procession went by. Families with their little kids, with their Boy Scout uniforms and their Brownie uniforms, standing at attention. And there was a lady in a red coat by herself waving an American flag, and just so many workers and families, and just those are things that meant so much to all of our family. And there's no way, has never been a way for me to express my gratitude for that, but there are memories that I'll never forget. It means a lot. I mean, anything that people do to honor his memory mean a lot. And what anybody that will tell you that has lost someone that they loved is that your biggest fear is that they're going to be forgotten. You wake up every morning and you think about them, and you think about them every day, but then the days go by and the weeks go by and the years go by, and then you remember them every day, but life goes on for everybody else. So you worry that the memory of him is going to disappear. And when police agencies and the sheriff's office do things like this, helps me know that people are thinking about him, and that he will be remembered again and never forgotten.